What's up, guys? Welcome to this episode of Pitching to Content, episode 12. Coach Mooney here with Coach Wilkerson.
What's up? How you guys doing?
We got Coach King here.
What's up?
And Coach Parker Meade.
What's up?
All right, guys. We got together with Christmas break. Christmas is over at this point, so we are kind of moving into our New Year mentality. And if you guys already listened to Coach Meade's episode, you guys know a little bit more about him. We also talked about Coach Snars a little bit in the episode, so hopefully you guys got a chance to listen to that over the break. If not, spread the word, get to know their coaches before we actually get started. But today, we're going to spend a special amount of time today, our farewell podcast to Mr. Coach Wilkerson. Coach, you're on your way out. Actually, you've already been out. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, I've already, done fall workouts. We've been in the weight room over at the Herm. Getting ready to go 4 days a week in January.
Love it. I love it.
We're, working our way to it.
Putting the work, Coach. I love it. So, so really it's not even about you leaving. You're gone, Coach. But we want to talk about you and how much we love you and how much we're going to miss you and all the things that you brought to the table for us. And probably tell a couple stories. What do you think, Coach King? A couple stories today?
Oh, yeah, we can have some Wilkie stories.
Yeah, Coach Parker, you didn't really get many books and stories, but you're going to get to know the softer and the harder side of Coach Wilkerson today. So it won't be a complete roast, Coach. No promises, but we're going to give you some love today, if you don't mind.
I'm here for it.
Good.
Let's do it.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, let's get into this a little bit, Coach. So, Coach, let's take you back to when you first got here. Okay, let's tell that story of when you first got here. I want to know your perspective on Clover Hill baseball, what you thought you were getting into, and really, what your thought process as a new hire was when you got to Clover Hill High School.
Well, so I'm going to be honest. When I first started coaching here, the only guy that I knew was Kai Sims. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, that's their best player, so I guess they might be okay, but if they don't have anything else that compares, that's probably not a good sign.
We didn't have many names.
No, definitely not. And I can tell you the first day of practice, I was there with Jack Horner. And, me and Jack had known each other through the travel ball world for quite a bit. And Jack walks up to me, and he's like, Wilkie, how many games do you think we're going to win? I was like, Jack, I don't know. We're a pretty rough-looking varsity group. And Jack's like, I mean, we could maybe get a win off a Bird, maybe sweep Monacan. 3 wins, maybe. I was like, I think we got more than 3, but not many.
Yeah. Yep.
And the crazy thing about it is, we ended up going 500 that year, which was
crazy.
Honestly, wild.
Crazy.
The wildest just ride of watching David Wallace, throw like he's the Iron Mike machine.
Yep.
And Cole Driscoll, just doing what he did, just painting corners and stuff, and just a general buy-in to a program that was pretty crazy. Where we had a little known freshman shortstop, David Coppage,
freshman
that was turned out to be, one of the, in that particular year, I thought he was one of the 5 best players in the district.
Oh, he's a
without
player.
a doubt.
He's a player.
I mean,
even then,
as a freshman, won games for us individually. So,
definitely. Yep.
It was just crazy to see us win 2-1.
Well, not to change the topic from
3-0, just weird.
The other day, Coach King and I were out at the field working because that's what we do.
Yeah.
And we were out walking to see one of our my former players, one of his friends, Brett Jones. We're going to see his house, and we're out there talking, and we were reminiscing about the players that we had on his team when I first got here. And we talked about the names of the players, like we're doing right now, the names of the players. And we're like, how the hell do we finish up 500 or better that year?
Yeah, we're like a game or 2 better.
With those names. Like, who were they? They were no names, but they were, like you said, bought in, and they played the game hard, and they did it the way we needed them to do it in order to win games. It wasn't anything that I did. They bought into what I brought to the table, and they did it. And I think you're talking about the same thing that me and Coach King were talking about the other day, is that these guys found a way to do it and do it that way. Cole Driscoll and David Wallace, they were gamers. They came out, they were going to pitch all 7 for us if they could.
Absolutely.
And they were going to throw strikes low in the zone. They were going to make sure they didn't walk or hit anybody. They were going to let these guys get themselves out, and that's just exactly what they did. Those guys right there.
Well, and I mean the fourth game of that year, I think we beat Cosby, and Tim was still there, which was just like,
he reamed them out.
I mean, that was probably the icing on the cake for me staying at Clover Hill. I was like
that was worth it.
I never beat Tim before.
I might stick around for a little while.
Yeah, I was like this feeling's all right.
Yeah.
So and again, it was it's, and I would say just that rivalry is one thing that personally the Clover Hill Cosby rivalries something I'm gonna miss because I don't I over at Herm we have Tucker and we have Glen Allen, but I don't think it's not a life or death rivalry where you can make your whole season beating that team.
Well, Coach, we talk about scrimmaging each other. I mean, maybe one of these days, without making it a rivalry like we hate each other, I mean, maybe the Herm Clover Hill little across the river.
Well, I mean, hopefully we're playing in the regional finals against each other for years to come.
That's what I'm talking about. And we learned to love and the love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe we can develop that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All love between us, but hopefully our players want to go win that game.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's I want to win every game. I mean,
of course.
You already know that.
I like that.
You already know that.
That's why I love you, Coach. It's all about, it's about winning every game.
As much as I want you to go to states, I'd rather it be me.
That's right. That's right. So I guess bottom line, Coach, I mean, I just really wanted to get your, when you first got here and on your way out, Coach, I mean, before you even know you got that job at Hermitage, what were your thoughts of the program before you even knew you were going anywhere?
Our program?
Yeah.
Clover Hill or Hermitage?
Clover Hill.
Clover Hill. I mean, my thing is that we had vastly improved the depth of the program tenfold. Mm-hmm. I mean, the quality of ball player that's coming into this program has drastically changed. I mean, again, we got unlucky on a couple guys that didn't work out or transferred or whatever. But the overall, I showed up and I cut like 6 guys from tryouts the first year. Last year it felt like I cut 20.
Yeah.
And I think the year before that it was actually we had like 55 at tryouts, mm-hmm. which that's the kind of program I never have been a part of that. To see that kind of growth was really impressive. But the quality of player has just changed, and it's nothing against the old guys. Like they were competitive as hell and did what they were supposed to, but
it's a deeper pool, and better pool.
Well, when you're able to have the 6'8" 8th grader not really pitch for you on JV last year, and you're a winning ball team, that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
And it just shows the competition and the there's a different level of talent. But there's still that high level of buy-in, and before I left, the off season was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I know Clover Hill. I mean, part of the route, selfishly, I want a scrimmage all because I want the guys at Herm to say, "This is what I left. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm trying to implement here. This is the results, and I hope y'all beat the shit out of us." Like honestly, like.
And we want you to give us, the same thing. We want you guys to come at us too.
I wanted to be like, oh wow, like Coach Wilkerson wasn't joking when he was talking about like program and culture and like there is a different way to do it, and like by beat us, I want y'all just to play so clean that like my guys are blown away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously I want to win. I mean, that's
of course. I mean, that's
that probably came out wrong, but it wouldn't bother me if y'all put up a 6 spot and Maloney threw the first 2 innings 6 up 6 down, and it was like, oh,
it just turns into a learning opportunity. I mean, it's what a scrimmage is supposed to be. It's
exactly.
Like, okay, let's
learn.
And
I guess kind of what Ocean Lakes has done to us a few times.
Yeah, they put it on us pretty good, especially last time we played them.
Well, at the JV level, it's always been at the JV level, it's always been, oh wow, their depth is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of want
this year
to see that.
Dude, they have like the craziest pitching depth. And with guys, they got some dudes, and they're just loaded with pitching this year. Ocean Lakes is going to be a contender this year.
Absolutely,
at state level, like they're going to go.
Absolutely,
they're going.
Well, they're dogs. I mean, their depth's always been crazy compared to the competition we play here.
Yep.
I mean, there's JV guys that we've faced from down there that I was like, if they were here, they're varsity guys
dudes.
easily.
Yep. And that's another thing that I want to say about our program real quick is that, a lot of our guys that are young varsity players, they're playing JV at other schools. And at Clover Hill, you play varsity. Since the day I got here, we've always had young guys, that we're going to play for me and us. Anywhere else, they're JV guys. Some of the guys would get cut at other programs. And they're playing varsity for us. I mean, look at Bryce Holyfield, for example.
Yeah.
He got cut from Cosby and came to Clover Hill, was our varsity starting second baseman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Absolutely. But I think that's the thing that has really changed. We
don't have those anymore.
The depth of the senior class, is obviously tremendous, and you have a bunch of good ball players in the junior class, and each class has 3 or 4 guys that are legit. You're like they could be all region players. They put it together, you know what I mean? And some of the senior class, I think there's even more than that. I think top to bottom, there's guys that just really contribute, and there's guys. We finally gotten to the point where there's bubble starters that other schools would kill to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can tell you just from like at Herm, like I'd kill to have like a Jamie Chapman that is going to be battling with Cam to start at first base and battling to be in the DH spot. If we had him, he's in the lineup day one.
Yep.
Like there's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the thing that is I'm kind of almost going back to that bizarro world of where we started here at Clover Hill, where I am fortunate that we have 2 or 3 kids that are legit Division I prospects.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no doubt about it. But it's the depth that is really tough because my uphill battle is I want to have a JV team, but I don't know if we're going to have enough.
Yep.
And that's probably just the biggest difference so far is just noticing the depth of the 2 schools and noticing wow, there's the expectation that this high school baseball team is the most important thing to you.
Yeah.
Especially really caring about the wins and losses part of it and preparing for the wins and losses part of it. I think they care in the moment, but you got to care all year.
Yeah, they're bought into that program too. I mean, they're at workouts. They're at every community service event we do. They're working concessions. They're helping us set up for the SAT. I mean, these guys are on board. I mean, and I think, Coach, when you get to Hermitage, because I know you're going to be over there eventually as a teacher one day, which I want to mention real quick is you as a teacher. Aside from baseball, that's one of the biggest hits Clover Hill High School's taken is losing you as a teacher, because what you do in this building is not easy to do, and you do it well. So that's a big hit. But we want you, once again, to move on and be there with your boys, because that's where you need to be. You know that. Yeah. And when you go, those things are going to come a lot easier. I wouldn't say easier, but they're going to be easier to build when you're there and they see you every day, all day.
Well, and the one thing I'll say that's really nice about Herm that you're walking into is an athletic department that if they had the resources at every sport, they would win everything.
Mm-hmm.
Football, they actually have the talent and the drive, and it shows. And we practice, over there, the football practice field and the baseball field are side by side. So I get to watch their football team practice.
Heads up.
And the culture's incredible.
Yep.
Their practice is incredible. It's 50 guys at attention, and that's one of those things that I'm like, I appreciate to see that, because it's a different culture, and plus, having to get to know Tim Jean-Pierre, the football coach.
So jealous you get to work with him. He sounds like a cool dude.
He gets it, and he gets it on that level that all of us in this room get it, as far as where guys, if guys want to go to college, this is what you have to do. If you want to be good, you got to be in the weight room. He gets it, and we're speaking the same language, and it's a school level culture that is very important. It's just having that part where I feel like it's It's just different. It's not. And I don't want to say it's good or bad, but it's just that part of it just means more there.
Yeah, and in the athletic department, like you were getting ready to say about how important the athletic department is.
Yeah.
Good cultures rub off on other cultures.
Yes.
And I think you being added to a baseball culture that's literally right next door, rubbing shoulders with the football program, with you on board on the same page as the football coach, it's going to rub off on your baseball guys.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to breed a very special environment where you're going to feed off of each other.
Absolutely.
And you got opportunities to maybe fundraise against them, compete against them. Hey, I already know our guys did some football games out at River City every now and then.
Yep.
I could see some of that going on when you get a little bit of culture built. So I mean, a lot of opportunities there. And Coach, I just think that you are so ready for this. Beyond ready for this. I mean, you're probably 2 years past being ready for this. So for you to get it, I am so happy for you. I mean, beyond. I hate losing you. Hate it. It's a big loss to us, and we're scrambling to pick up what we lost from you. But we brought in Parker. You got Coach Snars, and
I think you did more than replace me, but you're doing well.
It's not easy, but we'll never replace you. Not having you is a detriment to our program. But we'll get on our feet and we'll go. And we need that to happen. We want that to happen for you. So what I want to do now is we have a guy here with Coach King who got to, he was out of the program and, doing his thing at Bridgewater and then comes back. And you were here when he came back. I want to know, Coach King, your impression of Coach Wilkerson and the things that he did immediately. I'll put you on the spot on this. What did you see about him? What stood out about him as the guy of Coach Wilkerson, who he was for our JV program? What stood out to you?
The first thing that I'll say in regards to that is I didn't really know Coach Wilkerson before I came back from Bridgewater, but the first day I came out to workouts out here when I got back was, for whatever reason, James, you weren't here that day, and I couldn't help but talk to a few of the guys, and they were all just saying like, dang, I wish Wilkerson was here today, or this, that. I heard your name like 8 or 10 times in one day. So that really speaks to how much you were here and how much you were invested and stuff like that. And that's how I knew, square one, all right, this guy's legit. I didn't really know anything about who you were or what you did before that, but I knew that you were on board for sure after that day. But then once I got to know you and meet you and stuff, it was you definitely have a different way of going about things than Mooney does. But you still have the general idea of how to get things done in a program the same, right? So you go about it in a little bit different way, but you've got the same drive, the same competitive nature, the same the same goals at the end of the day. You just go about it a little bit differently, which I think is really, really good in a program, because then that way every guy can connect with somebody. So you were kind of always that alter ego to Mooney for me, where we had the same goals. You just went about it a little bit different way.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. I mean, that's what a head coach wants, and you filled that role perfectly. And Coach Meade, when you saw him for the first time, we were doing something really freaking cool, and we were doing our draft day. And just talk to us a little bit about your draft day experience when you saw Coach Wilkerson up there. All you were missing was a freaking
a pimp cane,
and a strobe light, or just all the theatrics. I mean, talk about that a little bit. What you saw of Coach Wilkerson when your first impression.
Bought in.
That's it. Bought
in as a coach. Yep. Just 100% in with the program and wanting the best for the guys.
Yep.
That's what I saw, was a guy that was excited not just for baseball, but just to be around his baseball players, and to be excited about it, which was really cool. You had the voice for it.
You definitely had the voice.
He's got. I was excited today.
The music was in the background.
I was excited today because I finally got to hear the Coach Wilkerson podcast voice that we've been talking about.
The radio voice.
The radio voice.
Sexy voice.
But yeah, that's the one thing that really stood out to me on draft day was just the buy-in, not only from the players and the amount of guys that showed up for draft day, but the buy-in from the coaches, and especially you, just being excited.
It's
and
the other way around, Coach. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's the other way around. He bought into our program. I mean, let's be real. He bought in, and we talk about the guys buying in all the time. He bought in. And the thing about it is when he bought in, it was palpable. You could see it, you can hear it, you could feel it, you could touch it. It was there, and he takes it and runs with it, and I love it because that weight room energy that we have, it's not there when you're not there, dude. We're gonna have to find a way to rebuild that because you bring the energy, your voice, your energy reaches those guys in their hearts, in their minds, and it gets something out of them. I can try, but it's not the same. So that's gonna be a tough part to replace. But at the same time, dude, this is a thank you. This is a take this and run with it. That is one of your best characteristics. Is that what Parker just said? You care. You can see it. It's there. You're bought into what you believe, and the players know it's not BS. It's true, it's sincere, and it's going to take you a long way.
Yeah, and one thing that I think I just want to bring up along those lines, because our guys listening, one day they're going to coach, and they're probably going to be an assistant coach at some point, is that an important part of leadership is understanding how to follow and how to be able to be second in command, third in command, and hold the rope, and I think, again, we don't agree on every single thing, but there has to be that general buy-in of if we all move together in one direction, it's going to work, There's, the first year I coached with you, we bunted all the time. I was like,
sorry, guys.
Lunchtime?
It's lunchtime. Was that fourth lunch? Fifth lunch?
Would have been corn dog nugget day.
Oh, I love corn dog nugget day.
But back to the story. But when David Cobbage would come up and you'd bunt him, I was like, Brett, this is the only time we can score runs is when this kid's up and bad. Let him swing.
Yep.
But it's buying into that and then implementing that at the JV level. Again, we implemented it a little differently, but the importance of that didn't go away, and we bunted the same way. We took what you did on your little video,
Bunting video,
on his bunting video, and implemented.
I'll put a link in the comments.
And implement that at JV, but some of the principles with pitching and stuff like that, and just implementing your stuff a little bit at the JV level and buying in shows. Okay, well, the JV coach is bought in because there's a lot of schools that they're two separate entities and they're doing two separate things, which has never really made sense to me.
Yeah.
That you would do that, or and that's probably the other thing is that we actually value JV baseball here, where we have the resources to do it. We have two facilities to practice on, and we're running full practices, and because a lot of schools don't do that.
Yeah, well,
and it blows my mind that you're just sending JV kids into a batting cage every day. And
well, once again, Coach, as far as JV coaches go, we had before you was Coach O'Hare, and Coach Ziglock was there for a little while too. But you brought a dynamic right away. I mean, you changed the game for us. I mean, it was good when O'Hare was doing it, but you made the program better. Not only by giving us O'Hare, having him as our bench coach,
absolutely,
but as how you didn't just say, "Oh, I'm just the JV coach." You were, "I'm the JV coach. I'm an extension of that varsity team." And the crazy thing about it was, we would sit after home and away games. Like we'd be opposite locations. We'd get together after our games, and we'd break down what happened in the varsity game. We break down what happened in the JV game, and we kind of talked about the players, talked about what they were doing. We bounced the whole program off each other every single night. We'd be here till dark, every night talking through our situations and not necessarily trying to tell you, "Hey, James, coach, you need to do this in order to win." No, it was like, this kid needs to be able to do this better in order to win when he gets to you.
Yeah.
Or I have a guy like that you coached before that he's not doing when you tell me about what he did when he was younger and how I could maybe get more out of him from what he did for you.
Absolutely.
So James, you brought a dynamic that you can't find anywhere, and this is going to be really hard for us to lose you. But we'll be on the phone all the time, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're going to be
well, I know we'll be. It'll just be talking about our two sides of the river, and And the great thing is we play a lot of the same teams, so and plus playoff time we'll be in the same region and all that. So
and I got to commend you when I talked to Parker about that draft day, that first day. I got to commend you on not just that, but that energy that you bring. That was Parker. What you saw that day was James Wilkerson at its finest.
At its finest.
That's what it was. And that's what we're going to miss, is that you're just you're the hype guy. And I told Coach King to be thinking of a story to tell about Coach Wilkerson. I'm going to go first, because my hype story for you, Coach, was last year's Cosby game 7 of the World Series against Cosby. Because that's what it was for Coach Wilkerson. We were going to win that game. I was going to throw whatever I had to do out there. I was actually able to go to that game. I stepped away out of the dugout, and farther away, the more intense it got, because I was getting intense too. I didn't want to stay in the way. But I got to see Coach Wilkerson's team go out there and compete and battle, and the expectation was set from the top. We were not going to let this team beat us, no matter how many fans they had, no matter how many of their varsity guys were there, no matter how loud their dugout was. We're going to go out there, we're going to compete, and we're going to beat these dudes. And I'll tell you what, when Coach Wilkerson recorded that last out, everybody was, I was hugging parents. We were so happy. I'm the varsity coach. I was hugging the JV parents about them winning. I was so excited for them. You watch Coach Wilkerson, he was fired up. And he was on another level, and I loved it. For me, that just, once again, just showed his passion for not just winning. The guys got to see it. They got to hear it. They got to feel it. And they need to know that's how important winning is at this level, because we only have, last year we only had 12 games. Yep. And to lose one of those 12 games is a big deal. To win that one against a very competitive Cosby team meant a lot. And that was, for you guys, the championship game. And you provided a positive experience for those guys. So for my story was the Cosby win, how excited you were just after the game was over, during the game, but after the game, how pumped you were about taking that win home.
And I want to add to that the guys, because I don't think last year's JV team was the most talented JV team I coached here at Clover Hill. However, the buy-in when we're on the bus, we're going from obviously it's not too far to go to Cosby. You could hear a pin drop on the way there. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a nervous or scared or, silence. It was like, this means the world to them. There's an understanding here that this is the most important task that we have at this moment. And that's one of the few times as a coach we had players that cared about it as much as I did. Mm. And I think that feeds off that energy to have kids care as much about it as you do, because I think we all, as coaches, that's one of the toughest things to achieve, is guys that care about it as much as you do. Yeah, it's just tough. It's impossible, because we're psychos.
Yeah, we're crazy.
We're it's not logical how much we care about a game. Yep. But to ride with 20 guys that it meant that much to them. And it should have never been 3-2. The umpires fucked us.
They did.
Multiple times. It should have been a 7-2 victory, comprehensive, but we kept our heads on.
And hats off to Coach Snars for stepping up. and no, seriously, and getting the guys back, and getting the parents back, and getting your back, and taking the L for that, and getting chucked. I mean, yeah. I moved away from the dugout for that reason. I didn't want to be the voice that was coming out of the dugout. I moved away because I was starting to chirp, because it was that bad. So, to fight through that adversity of having the umpires against you, to fight against a team that we have a rivalry against, and like you say, Coach, that's one of the most priceless things you can get in coaching. You feel, completely vindicated, justified in what you do when your players. That's Absolutely. The reward. We don't get paid much to do this, but when your team gets behind you and gets right there next to you and fights with you just as hard as you're fighting, it feels so good at the end of the day.
It was an insane feeling, and it was a great game, great moment.
And he'll have that for the rest of his life.
Yeah. I was going to say, as an opposing coach last year, that energy that you're talking about, the want to from those guys, I could see that on the field. I actually used Clover Hill as an example. We were very sloppy with our infield, outfield before the games. It was very slow, very lazy, and I'm like, look at them. Like, this is where you set the tone, is once you get off the bus and infield, outfield, that's where the other team sees who they're dealing with.
Up by 2.
Yeah.
Do it in 5 minutes.
Up by 2. Let's go. Do it fast. I love it.
But it was crisp. The guys were taking it seriously, like game time reps. And this is what we need to do for us to be a successful program, and to have that energy during the game. If you don't bring it out right off right off the bus, you're not going to have it. And I could see that last year as an opposing coach is the energy that your team brought.
We also had crazy good leaders. I think that can't be understated. Chase Thomas as a sophomore and Jaden Klein as a sophomore. Those two guys were they did a lot of growing up, and they have a lot of gravitas as juniors.
Yep,
and
they do.
They on that particular team they were always holding guys accountable, and I couldn't ask for more from them. And that's part of it, is that they get what we're doing, and they never took anything personally, and they figured out what I'm trying to do to help them. And I remember Chase Thomas before last year. He asked me what he needed to do to get to varsity. I'm like, I don't know. I had to be honest with him and say, I don't really know if there is a road at this moment. But all you can do is dominate JV, and he did. He went out there and he did it every day, and it's going to serve the program well because he's going to be a contributor this year in some form or fashion.
And that's great advice, Coach. That's the best advice a JV coach can give is dominate here, and let the chips fall. I mean, that's perfect. That's a perfect answer. Perfect.
It's it's one of the things that I think, understanding that there is something bigger than JV that they're chasing, and it's the only answer is to dominate.
And the
level you're at.
baseball that they're playing today is the most important baseball that they'll play today. Play today's game and worry about tomorrow's game later. Get there. So, well, Coach, do you have a Coach Wilkerson story in your time with him that kind of just stood out as this is a moment that this is Coach Wilkerson all about Coach Wilkerson right now. So,
well, I was going to go with the pizza story.
That's a good one.
But I think I'm going to change it up. With that weight room energy that you were talking about, I have this awesome memory of when we were doing grade checks one day, and Coach Wilkerson got on the microphone and was just letting people's grades rip for the entire weight room, which was awesome. He's like, all right, Wade Haney, O'Hare's class, F, whatever this, F. And then you get Crow in there, Will Crow, advanced honors, AP statistics, A, English, A, AP lit, A, and just wilding out with the point, throwing points around, yelling people's grades for the world to hear.
While you're here, toss some points around.
I've got an awesome video of it on my phone somewhere.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Yeah.
You can't, if you're not held accountable in the classroom. How can I trust you in the on the ball field?
Exactly. Well, that's exactly what we've been talking about in this podcast. Really, is just we're celebrating you, Coach. We're celebrating you leaving. It's a bittersweet moment. We're ready to let you go. We are. We've come to peace with it. We're not mad at you, believe it or not. We are actually completely excited about it. And we talked about this before. Have you heard me say good luck yet? No, because
no, I don't think so.
I don't even know. Have you heard me say congratulations?
No,
because I don't know what to say to you. I don't know what to say because really it's a combination of both. I'm glad you got the job. Your work's ahead of you now. I don't want to say good luck because that almost sounds insensitive. It's going to be grind. So the words aren't there for it because I'm excited for you, but I know you're going to have to grind through it. It's going to suck for a little while, but you're going to embrace it. You're going to go with it. Embrace the suck. Just like in the game, you're going to fail, but you're going to find some positive moments in this that are going to help build, and guys are going to be buying in one at a time, and it's going to be a really fun thing for me to watch from the outside looking in, watching you build this thing because it is an experience to watch as well.
Yeah, and let me say, the kids that have been coming to my stuff, they're in it. I mean, they get it. It's just fighting the numbers battle, and we will get there. It will happen, and we're I'm starting to make my grassroots connections within the community there, and we're going to build it from the ground up because you got to, kind of what we did here. You got to want guys to be Clover Hill Cavaliers before they get here. I mean, Keller Williams was shaking my hand saying thank you, Coach, when he was a fifth grader. Yeah. Being excited to be a Clover Hill Cavalier one day. So, it's that's the part that's important, and building that connection, and again, that's the difference between high school ball and travel ball is that you're playing for your greater community. Mm-hmm. You're playing for. There's people that represent this building that have come before you. There's going to be ones that come after you, and you're either continuing the tradition or setting up a tradition for people to walk into, and you're working towards excellence that's bigger than you.
Yep. And I love that, Coach, because you always hear me saying playing for the green and gold, playing for Clover Hill, playing for the guys next to you. This means a little bit more. You hear us come at travel ball a lot and showcase ball, and we there's a place. We love it and we hate it at the same time. And there's many good things that happen. This is one of my concerns I want to share with you while we have the time and while we have the guys' ears, hopefully, for here at the last couple of minutes of this podcast, is that we're taking a group of guys right now, and you probably are too, that the only baseball they have played to this point has been showcase baseball. And with the exception of our guys, when they were freshmen, they were playing a competitive. They were taking on the chin pretty good. They were getting beat up.
Yep.
But through their sophomore COVID year, no games. Their junior year, 12 games. And then this year, a full 20-game season. We're taking a group of guys that has played nothing but, I don't want to say uncompetitive baseball because some guys can make it competitive, but they're not playing. They've been showcasing to this point, and they've been successfully showcasing. Let's be real. So that's going to be our challenge as coaches this year, is trying to find a way to bring it together, get these guys to play as a team concept. There's going to have to be a lot of buy-in to play it a different way, play the game a different way, and they got a little taste of it last year. But they only got half a season. They could never get over that hump of that learning curve.
Well, and I think it's vastly different this year to have a full off season. That just makes it more important because you're being held accountable because you have to face, whoever your teammate is every day.
Yeah, and you're building the culture.
It's just and being in school and being, it's something bigger because most of our kids never came back from virtual last year. They
were coming to our practices.
So it's there's no, because here's the thing, and this is the difference. No teacher ever asks you, hey, how did you play for the Canes this weekend?
No.
But what teachers do ask, oh, how was the Manchester game yesterday? Like people know what's going on around here.
They don't put travel game scores in the newspaper.
Exactly, and well, they don't even tweet it, right? Like no, Richmond kids have been on Canes National for years. No one cares.
Yeah.
Like
there's something about the game when it's played as a team that means a little bit more.
It's cool. Yeah, well, it's cool and all, but state champions get put in the paper, not perfect game national champions.
Yeah.
Like that's a blurb. A state champion has an all metro cut out.
That's a front pager.
And it's just different. It means, in the sense of wins and losses, it just means so much more at the high school level. And the high school level, it's almost nice to be separated from the layers of how many scouts are at this game, how all the BS is shaved away.
It's between the lines.
It's now, did we win or lose?
Yep.
Did I do what the coach asked me? That's it. There's nothing else that goes with it. And I think there's gonna be at some point people are gonna start valuing what the high school coaches think a lot more, because here's the thing, and we see it within our program. Guys that we like, we're getting to the point now that it's not just the prima donnas that are switching their travel team every year. It's normal guys because they feel like they have to if they think it's not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Like even guys that I wouldn't say are prima donnas, they're like
they're still moving around.
I got to move here because it's not working here. And the FOMO and all that goes with it. Your high school is your high school.
Yep, you have to play here.
For the most part, right?
Yeah.
Like, unless you go private, your high school is your high school. So there's no running away from it as far as year to year to year because you're being held accountable for 4 years.
Yep.
I had to talk to a kid at Herm about his grades, and he's a D1 prospect. He's a sophomore that's 84 to 87. Like he could have it, but he's having trouble with his grades. And I'm like, dude, I need you to realize I'm not holding you accountable for this season. Mm-hmm. I'm holding you accountable for the next 3 years so that at the end of the line you can actually have a choice of what you want to do.
Yep.
Because guess what? The JUCO bandit route is not glamorous. There's no glamour in going to Walter State.
It's a grind, man. It's a grind. And sometimes it's baseball, but when your ability is bigger than that, get it done in the classroom.
Well, it's the choice. It's the opportunity, and we just want to work our butts off to give kids opportunities at the end of the day.
Well, Coach, I got to say it right now. I mean, you're going to do a phenomenal job over there at Herm. I'm 100% ready to go. If things don't work out, I'm going to say it. You always have a soft place to land over here at Clover Hill. Never forget that.
Yeah.
I don't want that for you ever. But you always have a soft place to land over here because we would love to have you back, obviously, anytime down the road. When we build this empire of maybe we'll build our own little league or something like that where we'll have we'll take on a college program when we all retire. How about that?
Exactly.
So, but yeah, we just want to kind of give you a little bit of love here on their way out, just to give the guys a nice little opportunity to think about you. And your fungo over there in the corner looks very pretty. Part of Parker, just part of Coach Wilkerson's fungo ability comes from his custom fungos that he gets made for himself, and his infield outfield is mostly because of his fungo.
Yeah.
So, so Coach, we're going to miss you. We already do miss you, and we wish the best for you. Coach, you have any last words you want to say before we wrap this thing up?
So I do have one quick question for you. So we talked a little bit earlier about how you kind of see some things different than how Coach Mooney does. What's one thing from the Mooney method you're going to take with you, and one thing from the Mooney method that you are never, ever, 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 ever going to take with you that you hate?
Love it.
I think the biggest thing that I take away from Mooney is I think we're like one of the few people that you don't throw the ball above the belt ever.
No.
Ever.
On purpose.
It's that's not really a part of the game. We stay down. We use our fastball out effectively, and we definitely I think see really eye to eye on the pitch calling thing. Mm-hmm. Probably the one thing I will never ever do is auto bunt, man on first, no outs.
I had a feeling that's really
that's I knew that too. I knew it too, and that's the cool part. And we talked about this before, Coach. We talked about. I'd love to have that question asked, like, hey, what would you take? What are a couple things you take? What's something that you would leave here and let us just stay with it? I knew that would be your answer, and I wanted to use that as an opportunity to teach the guys through this podcast, because it's for them. Is that the reason why we do things the way we do things? We've had those groups that we talked about lack of talent in our program. We had to bunt. We had to do it. We had to get the guy to second base just to give ourselves a chance, and almost in like a way to save ourselves a little bit.
Absolutely.
So it's important that you guys know that there's a reason why we do these things. Like Coach Wilkerson's going to go over there and he's going to have a different approach because it's his program, and that's what we want. We want to have our program. We want him to have his, and there's buy-in that is required in order for Coach Wilkerson. You take that over there with you, they're going to have to do it, or they're going to lose because they don't. Whatever your program is, whatever your priorities are, if you say, hey, we're going to hit and run the situation, or we're going to only bunt in this, if they do it wholeheartedly, you'll win.
Absolutely.
If they don't, you'll lose. And it's the same thing here.
Well, and probably the bigger thing that I'm taking from here is just a lot of the culture stuff, and just having that expectation of we do what we do in the off season. We get ready for the season. We prepare ourselves, and we do what we need to do in the classroom and the community to also, raise the profile of the program. And I mean that's the one thing here. The Clover Hill baseball program rises above all the other sports here. It's not even close, and it's kind of in all facets.
Well, you're a huge part of that too, Coach. I mean, we got to give you credit where credit's due. You definitely pulled a lot of that weight to get us there too. I mean, we had a good foundation, but you put us over the top. So we appreciate that. Thank you for all that. Coach Parker, do you have anything to say here at the end?
I don't really have any stories or anything like that, but I do have a question. So because you were a new coach coming into Clover Hill at one point, what is one or a couple things maybe, what should I expect as a new coach coming into Clover Hill? What are some things that I should expect, not just from the players' standpoint, but what should I expect from Coach Mooney and Coach King over here? What are some things that really stand out?
Well, so Coach King's steady as shit.
He definitely
you don't have to worry about it. And he's a great psychologist.
Very cerebral.
Yeah, so if you're not ready to deal with the kid that's
douchey, mildly douchey.
No, but Coach King's he's tremendous. I mean, to have the experiences he's already had as a coach is unreal. And Coach Coach King's just he's just steady. I don't,
Except when somebody pisses me off in softball, I'm not steady anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Or somebody's on your field when you're trying to drag it or water it.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. Now Mooney on the other hand.
Oh, not stable.
Here you gotta, between you and Chris, y'all gotta figure out who's the clipboard guy. When
We've already talked about this.
when Mooney throws his clipboard, who's gonna be the guy that just quietly hand it back to him? Don't make a scene, don't say anything, just shut up, pick it up, and give it to him. Yeah. All right. Also, you need to have a chain of command of who's the guy that talks to him as he's calling pitches, because you don't want too many. He gets frustrated. He gets flustered. So, Parker, what I would do, if you want change up away, you tell Chris change up away. He tells O'Hare change up away, and then O'Hare.
It's been me. It's been me.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
Man, we actually had a good thing last year.
O'Hare normally tells me. O'Hare's like, "Hey man, we got to get this change up away right here. We just can't.
Yep.
We can't throw this guy fastball. He's gonna hit it over the damn highway."
And Coach, I love it. I love it when I get it out of Coach King. When he puts it in my ear, I love that, because I'm like, okay, good. You're seeing something I'm not seeing. Let's go. I'm going to go with it 9 times out of 10, probably 9.5 times out of 10. If he says something, let's go with it. Let's go with it. Unless I'm like dead set, we're going with this. I got this guy with this.
So don't go to you. Go to Coach King and let him talk to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something inappropriate that I can't say on a podcast. I'm gonna say that to you. Yeah, Parker. I'll say.
Go ding dong yourself.
Parker, go yourself. All right. Now I'm gonna say, hey, go adjust your outfielders.
and the biggest thing you can do is be the energy dude in the dugout, man.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's the one thing that, again, I mean, with Mooney being focused on the game,
he's focused on the game. That's not my strong suit.
And well, you're cerebral guy. You're the quiet bench coach. You get all the knuckleheads that are losing their minds, get them calmed down. Just being the energy guy and getting them bench guys to understand it's important, their role, as far as like, if I'm not in the game, I'm in the game. And that, it's not it's not a morgue over there. You're getting behind your boys and you're getting after it.
We won that Cosby game because of your energy on the bench and a couple lucky breaks a couple years back.
Oh yeah,
I mean it when I say that. His energy that he brought to the bench, because he was able to be with us in the postseason, that helped us win the game, big time. I mean, there were several things that went our way, but things that we could control. We can control Coach Wilkerson's energy, so that's a big time piece of that's a nugget right there. I love it, absolutely love it. So, Coach Wilkerson, last words you want to throw out there to the guys real quick while you got their ears hopefully still here about 47 minutes in.
I can't believe it's over. I mean, it's bittersweet, as we said before, but yeah, man, Clover Hill will always have kind of a special place in my heart. It's, I think it's more my home in the, in Chesterfield than even my alma mater at Monacan is at this point, because I feel like it's just family, and, obviously, my wife works here, and so I'll always have a little ear in in the Clover Hill baseball.
You'll hear from me.
realm.
I'm like, can you believe this crap? I'm calling you.
But, it's I couldn't have asked for a better group of kids and parents to have coached. I mean, that's the probably the last thing is the parents buy into what I'm doing too, and they buy into what you're doing too, Brett, and they that's the difference here than anywhere else I've been. Is it's unquestioned. We do what we got to do, and I think a lot of that just has to do with honesty and everyone being honest with themselves and everybody willing to understand what's required from the team aspect. And I really hope I'm able to implement a lot of the same things. If I can have anywhere near the success at Hermitage that I've had here at Clover Hill, it'll be more than I ask for.
Yeah. Well, we wish the same thing for you, Coach. We want you to have that success, and we're here to help you along the way, every step of the way. And I know the parents would be saying the same thing if they were able to chime in. I'm sure they drop everything for you as well. So, thanks again for doing this little podcast with us here at the end. And we're going to be we might even bring you in if we need some Coach Wilkerson energy because we do this podcast for our guys.
Yep.
Here we are doing this podcast on our winter break for our baseball players, and it's just something extra that nobody else gives their players. We're giving them extra, and it's important for them to know that relationship that they had. They had something very special with you, Coach, and they might not know until 10 years down the road. But I think you made a very huge impact on this program and on these boys specifically, and we're going to miss you. We already do, and we're going to say our little farewell here, and wish you the best, and hopefully down the road, our paths are going to cross many times.
Well, hopefully, outside of the scrimmage, we get to see each other late in May.
That'd be perfect.
And maybe try to go to states at the same time.
Throw down on the diamond. Let's do it.
I love it.
I love it. So, guys, thanks for joining us today for this bittersweet episode of Pitching to Content. We're on episode 12, so hope you guys are enjoying this, and we're doing it for you guys. Continue to please tune on in. And Coach Wilkerson, thank you one last time. Coach Mead, Coach King, thanks for letting me do all the talking.
Hey, you're like Joe Rogan, man.
Am I?
You're like Joe Rogan.
I don't
little Pat McAfee too, a little bit.
Nah, he's more Rogan. Pat goes like wild and does crazy stuff. Rogan is just like really poses questions and then lets the guests talk. You do a good job of doing that.
I appreciate that. Well, it was all about Coach Wilkerson today. So, we love you. I said that. I said it. I said it. We love you, and we'll always be here for you.
That's
Coach,
not normally the type of thing you say when you say I said it.
I know. But
normally the opposite of that.
This bell's killing us.
I love you too.
Wait for the bell to stop. Say it again. Come on. Now you can say it.
I love you too.
All right, it's mutual then. All right, good. Guys, we love you. That's why we're doing this. So keep on working hard for us. We appreciate it. We love you guys. The culture you built is phenomenal, and it stands out. And what you guys have done have actually helped Coach Wilkerson more than you know. You shaped him as a coach, so a lot of the credit that he's already given you guys does go to you guys. So keep working hard, and we will talk to y'all next time we do a podcast. Have a good one, guys.
Peace out.